Happy Saturday, it's Penuel the Black Pen. Just took a very nice walk at Westpark Cemetery. Westpark Cemetery is it's close to Melville, Emmarentia, and Montgomery Park, which is the neighborhood that I currently reside in. Very beautiful experience. I don't have some of these fears that other people have of living close to a cemetery or walking around the cemetery, that there's ghosts or souls floating around. I found myself reflecting a lot, learning a lot. It's almost like walking in a museum. Number one, when you enter there, there's like a pathway of like celebrities that have passed on. Um, the first big thing is even in death, there's segregation. There's a Muslim section. There's two Muslim sections. There's I think two or three Jewish sections. There's a section there for Asians. They look Chinese. They could be Korean, Japanese. I'm not sure. There's sections for like Greek people. There's sections for Portuguese people. There's sections for like white Afrikaners, but I think it's from people back in the day. Um, there's sections for children. And then it's fascinating how people have different tombstones. The Muslims are very minimalistic, very simple, no fancy tombstone. The Jews have like a uniform tombstone that they have. Obviously, black people go ham and they go hard. But some of the older grave tombstones have got amazing statues and sculptures, of Jesus, of Mary and baby Jesus, of course, in the pictures that we've seen of white Jesu. And you see the areas that are well kept, manicured, the lawns have been cut, great paving, and then the places that are a bit dirtier. Speaks volumes about the people that are buried there and the type of people that are buried there. There's a section there for people that passed away in wars, serving the country. Very beautiful setting there, beautiful trees, something that I generally normally crave in township cemeteries, graveyards, and just in townships in general. Planting lots of trees, putting benches there, and then obviously maintaining the spaces. I would like to be cremated, personally. I hate the fact that dead people take up land unnecessarily. I'd like to be cremated, to be burnt. To be honest, if I could, I'd want to be chopped up and fed to animals that could benefit from eating my body. At some point, I wanted to donate my organs because I'm relatively healthy. I exercise, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I'm in good health. But apparently, the organ donor process is very cumbersome. And the whole concept of having to check in, and it becomes too much of a job. So if it's possible for people to use my organs after I pass, that would be great. If it's possible for people to chop me up and feed me to pigs or other animals that would benefit from eating me, that would be pretty awesome. And then whatever remains, you can just burn it. And I don't even want my ashes stored in some special place or flung in the sea. Nah, just burn me and flush that shit down the sewage. I believe my life would have been lived fully. I believe I would have made an impact in people's lives. People will hopefully remember my name for as long as possible. I know I think it's the Mexicans, but other people in the world, they believe you die 3 times. I think the first time is the death of the ego, when you humble yourself and there's like a deep traumatic accident and tragedy, when you find your purpose in life. That's the first death. The second death, well, for some people, that first death is when you've been confirmed in church, your rebirth, your salvation. So that's the first death. The second death is the death of the physical, when you die physically and then, you're buried or you're cremated. And then the third death is when people forget your name and forget you ever existed. I think that's pretty fascinating. And I would like my name to echo into eternity. The people that I admire, people like Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Ernesto Che Guevara, Mao Zedong, people whose names are going to echo in history for very, very long. Father Abraham, who gave birth to Judaism, Christianity, Islam, as an example. While I was walking there, I found myself thinking about surnames, because surnames are big. Go around, look at people's surnames. That's how you kind of know that someone is Greek, Portuguese, Zulu, Xhosa, Afrikaans, whatever the case may be. Surnames, and I'd like to change my surname to my name, Penwell. But I don't like the home affairs system and the surname system we have currently. I'd like to go back into the old school system where children take the name of the person under whose guardianship they are or whose land they live on. So if I have a piece of land and my name is Penwell, my children will be the children of Penwell. That becomes their surname. Because I'm not a big fan of patriarchy and I largely believe in non-sexism, I would love for my children to have their mother and their father's names as what we call a surname now. But I don't even know if I like surnames just in general. But just knowing that you are Nkunzi, wa Penwell Nombali, or you are Ushaga, ka Penwell Nozanele, or you are Unyanga, ka Luvuyo no Penwell, or you are Uzulu, Kantabi saying no Penwell. For me, that carries better weight. You can even add like the Dutch, where you come from, fun Newcastle, fun Johannesburg, wherever you come from. For me, that has so much more sense and identity, and it literally captures your lineage. That's what Izithakazelo, Izdugo, our clan names used to signify. When I speak about Umlotshwa, Uzitha, Untumbeza, Untanzi, those are the names of men that came before. And it's meant to add on from there, where I add my father's name, Uzwelake. I add my grandfather's name, Umsongelo. What I haven't enjoyed is the fact that we ignore the women. My paternal grandmother, Uhlupekile. When I look at my grandmother on my mother's side, Utemba, Maria, I would love for our mothers to also have. Which is why I also get annoyed and perturbed and intrigued by women, single women, or unmarried women who want to be like, no, my children will take my surname. It's not your surname, it's your father's lineage. It's still patriarchy, by and large, which is quite sad for me. But here we are. And I think I've said before, there are so many things. We live in a privileged time, so many things that we can change today. And I'd like that to be one of the things we consider changing. Changing the concept of surnames, how we measure surnames. If it's for identity, or rather as an identifier, which is what the Home Affairs social security system is about, we've got numbers. I've got my ID number, you've got your ID number. We can track people on that. And make sure that your ID numbers are all-inclusive. Date of birth, maybe which area you were born. I mean, you could literally put the coordinates of where you were born in your ID so that in the globe, people can pinpoint exactly where you come from. I think that would be pretty dope, And if you want to add flimsy labels like race, like gender, we can add those, which we used to have, by the way, in our ID. You'd know with the numbers at the end if this is a male or this is a female. I think that has largely fallen away now. We can even change our ID numbers to be better identifiers of who we are. And then when it comes to names, surnames, we can go crazy. I would like for my children, when they reach an age of maturity and independence, to go through a journey of self-introspection and figure out, do I still like my name? Do I still want to be Africa or culture, Unyanga? Or would I like to change my name, and come up with my own name? And they should be allowed to do that. They should be allowed to do that. I think that would be a beautiful thing. This is what my parents used to call me. This is what I now call myself and what I want to be known as moving forward. And when you have children, your children will then go by that surname of who you want to be known as. I think that's beautiful. Just in closing, I went to visit the head office of Afriforum yesterday. I was hosted by one of the gentlemen and the leaders in the campaigns department, Ernst van Sale. Writes amazing pieces on Twitter. He's a very well-read, very articulate young man from Malmesbury in the Western Cape, now living in Johannesburg. 9th generation South African. He's like, his blood is full-on South African, even though his mom has got Scottish heritage. I had a really great time visiting him there. Ernst Roots, one of the leaders of Afriforum, was also there. We had a chat for like 15 minutes with him as well. And one of the reasons I went there was because I wanted them to convince me to join Afriforum as a paying member. I've had some issues with some of the stuff that's written on their website, that they largely fight for Afrikaners, not white people, but Afrikaners in language and culture, and either minorities in this country. I think they do amazing work of holding our government accountable. They do amazing work of service delivery. They, along with the trade union Solidariteit, have built an amazing skills tertiary institution called Soltech. Looking at the work they're doing, they've built Afriforum TV, which is capturing Afrikaans media. The way they were so polite, the organization And the way even Ernst Roots as a leader is so well read, I was surprised he's got books like Credo Mutwa, Indaba My Children, in his library, in his office. He's got a book from Mao in his office. Very open, very diverse, hyper intelligent, and very empathetic. And they won me over. I think once I've fully signed up, I'm going to go around and tell everyone I'm a member of Afriforum, even though I'm not Afrikaans, even though I'm not a member of the official minority. But I appreciate the work they're doing, and some of the work they've done defending the case of the late Senzo Meyiwa, who was the goalkeeper of Ibafana Bafana and Orlando Pirates and the captain of both teams. Some of the work they've done helping a royal family in the Free State of the Barolong nation has been very exemplary. These are people that are doing work on the ground. And I'm always a fan of people that are putting in work and making a change, regardless of your religion, your gender, your nationality. To be honest, even if you're racist, if you're putting work that fundamentally helps South Africans, I can support that. Hope you'll have a blessed and happy Saturday. I'll chat to you guys soon. Happy October. Cheers.